So for rounding, you'll be told how many decimal places to round to. So if we're going to round to 2 decimal places, for example, in the following examples, you're going to look to the right of the decimal place, count over 2, and then draw a line. And so our focus is on the number just to the right of the line, and that's going to determine whether or not the number to the left of the line stays at its number or gets bumped up. So if the number to the right of that line is 5 or higher, we bump up. If it's not, then we stick with that number that's there. So in this case, if I'm rounding this number, 151.3725, to 2 decimal places, my answer is going to be approximately 151 point, and this is just going to be 37, because the 2, I don't care what's after it, the 2 isn't big enough to bump the 7 up. But if I draw a line here and I want to go again on this second example to 2 decimal places, I count to the right of the decimal 2 places, draw my line, and again my focus is the number directly to the right of the line. This one is 5, so 5 or higher is going to make the one on the other side of the line bump up to 1 additional digit. So in this case, the approximation to 2 decimal places would be 151.3, and then this becomes 8. The only number that got adjusted was this guy right here. All right. So let's take a look at this next number, 79.693. I want to round to 2 decimal places, so I count 1, 2, and then draw my line. This number here is the one that determines whether I bump or not. If it's 5 or higher, then it goes up. So in this case it's not, so my approximation would be 79.69. Okay. Let's try this next one here. If I, again, go to 2 decimal places, 1, 2, draw my line. I look at the 8. That's going to be big enough to move this number up 1 digit. But that's a 9. So when I move that up to a 10, it bumps the next number up. So the 69 then becomes 70 to 2 decimal places. So the only reason this number got impacted was because this was a 9, and when I bump it up 1 unit, that becomes a 10. So 0, and then add the 1 here, 6 and 1 gives me the 70. Okay. Let's take a look at this example. It's another 79.693. This time I want to round to 1 decimal place. So I find my decimal, I go over 1 place, draw my line. I look at the number 9, which is bigger than 5. So it's going to bump the guy on the other side of the line up 1 unit. So when I bump the 6 up 1 unit, it becomes 7. So my final answer here to 1 decimal place is going to become 7 over there. Okay. So I'm going to write down some ones for you to try. These we're going to round to 3 decimal places. All right, and I'm just going to put some numbers down here. And then we'll try this one. Okay, so I'll try these 3. Okay, and if you're trying these on your own, go ahead and stop the video, write the answers down, and then compare your answers to my answers. So I have 3 decimal places, draw my line, check out this number only. Everything else is not my business. So the 7 is big enough to move the number on the other side of the line up 1 place. So this one should have been 0.125. And I have 3 decimal places in my answer. Okay. Decimal places are what happens to the right of the decimal place. It doesn't matter what the numbers are in front of the decimal place, it's the ones to the right. So again, 3 decimal places. So here's my decimal, 1, 2, 3. Draw the line. Check out the number just to the right of the line, and it determines whether the next one gets bumped up 1 unit or does it stay. And again, everything after that we don't care about. So the 3 is not 5 or higher, so we stick with the 3 digits we've got, the 12.006. And again, 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. Draw the line, check out this number here, 8. Okay, again, we're not worried about anything after the 8. The 8's going to help me determine what happens on the other side of the line. All right, so 8 is 5 or higher, so it's going to bump the 9 up by 1. But when 9 bumps up by 1, it becomes 10. So this is a 0, and then add 1 to the 2, which becomes 3. So this is negative 51.1, and then the 29 becomes 30. And again, the only reason this number was impacted was because this was a 9, and when I bump it up by 1, it becomes like a 10. So the 0 sticks, and then we add 1 to the next number to it. Okay? And those are our rules of rounding.